Welcome to the fifth week of the MOOC. This week we will look at how we can assess the performance of infra-systems. This is a vital topic that has attracted a lot of scientific interest over the recent years. We will give you a framework for such a performance assessment. Up to now, many infrastructures have shown undesired behavior, resulting in public upheaval and attention. Examples of failing infrastructures have occurred, for example, the Northeast electricity blackout in the USA in 2003. Because of a software bug in the alarm system of the control room, a small technical problem was not solved in time and could grow into a widespread blackout that affected 45 million people in 8 states. Given the importance of the function that infrastructures fulfill, this week we will give you an insight into the performance of infrasystems and the assessment of this performance. We will actually highlight 3 different levels of performance assessment, each with their own challenges. These levels are the governance level, the operational level and the technological level. And, as you will find out, complex system theory is again relevant here, on all 3 levels. In the first lecture, we focus on the governance level. This is the level where government and politics take center stage. We link the performance to public values. These public values are basically the principles that society finds important and that society wants the infrasystems to embody. After all, if we as a society don't know what we want from these infrasystems, how can we assess their performance? Still, there are many different kinds of public values from which we can assess the performance of infrasystems. Politicians, the public opinion and regulators think differently about how public values can be safeguarded in infrasystems. And different actors have different opinions about which public values are important to begin with. This implies making trade-offs between various public values like accessibility, affordability, sustainability and safety. So, how is the trade-off made? And what policy instruments are available to ensure certain performance and what are their effects? For further reading about this governance level, we recommend, among other things, the paper From Clouds to Hailstorms that we've included in this week's reading list. Assessing performance based on public values is only one perspective on performance assessment. In the 2 lectures thereafter, the emphasis of the analysis shifts towards the operational level. At this operational level, societal demands for performance standards are actually defined, often very specifically. In order to make sure that public values are actually provided, governments have, following the liberalization and privatization process, usually created 1 or more regulatory agencies and charged them with the job of setting and maintaining performance standards in infrasystems. Think of detailed rules and regulations and think of inspectors who periodically undertake inspections of trains, ships, airplanes, etc. Often completely by surprise. However, it is at this level that different political choices with regard to which public values matter result in different regulatory approaches. And regulators need to regulate a highly diverse groups of companies. How strict should enforcement be? Furthermore, at the operational level, clashes occur as different public values can lead to conflicting demands. For example, regulators in charge of creating efficient infrasystems, for example low bus fares, can be at odds with government policy that desires more sustainable infrasystems with, for example, electric buses. Consequently, a wide diversity of infra-system performance can be identified across the world, and regulators assess this infra-system performance differently. Different standards and different analytical methods are used to maintain oversight and assess infra-system performance. So, what are typical performance indicators of infra-systems and which are used by regulators? Have a look at the World Bank report about economic regulation that we selected for further reading and for more information about that. As a result of the variety in approaches and regulation, a great variety in infra-system performance can also be witnessed across the world. The two lectures you will see are each based on an example of infra-system failure and focus on performance assessment from this more operational level. You will also see an interview with leading researchers on this topic. For those of you with a mathematical background, we offer the expertise of our final lecturer, who looks into the deepest level of performance assessment, and that of technology, the physical infrastructure design. At this technological level, we position ourselves in the role of an infra-system owner. Think of a company that owns and maintains an electricity grid, for example. We will introduce the concept of robustness and resilience. These concepts are about the ability of an infra-system to cope with random failure, for example, or how it deals with target attacks or a spreading computer virus. A mathematical approach for analyzing the robustness and resilience of a specific infrastructure design will be introduced. This will prove useful when designing an infra-system. However, we emphasize that you need a mathematical background to fully comprehend what our final lecturer has to offer. The videos covering this final technological level of performance assessment are therefore not obligatory. We hope you will enjoy this week. Good luck!